Greetings, folks, and welcome to the CODEC Show. My name is Peter James, and I'm excited to have you here for the College of DuPage Entrepreneurship Club. This is Spring 2020, first episode of the semester. And of course, we have an audience here. And audience, let's get a round of applause for you guys. Are you excited to be here? Right. Wait, or are you excited about the pizza? Yeah. I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. Anyway, so, those of you who are watching for the first time, welcome. We here at the College of DuPage Entrepreneurship Club, we welcome in entrepreneurs, business owners from the local community, expose them to our students who are here watching, of course, in the studio audience, and those of you who are watching as well, just so students can see that there are other options besides just working for somebody, that starting your own business is definitely a viable option. And of course, we are coming to you live from the beautiful campus of the College of DuPage, 273 acres of beautiful property right here in the west suburbs of Glen Ellen, Illinois. If you have never had a chance to visit the campus, you are missing out on life. So definitely make it a chance to come, make it an opportunity to come through. We have a lot of opportunities here, a lot of colleges here, a lot of majors here. And I want to say close to 30,000 students, maybe like 25,000, something like that as well. I never know. Again, my name is Peter James. I'm a professor of business and entrepreneurship, and I'm excited about today. I'm very, very excited about today because we have a distinguished guest who is not just an entrepreneur, not just a business owner, but he is a College of DuPage alumni. Danny, yes. Welcome to the club. Let's give Danny a hand, folks.
Thank you.
Are you just giving Danny a hand or are you giving his pizza a hand? What is it? I'm so confused. All right. So thank you, Danny, for coming by as well. We're so excited to have you here. How you doing today?
I'm great.
Awesome. You on campus a lot?
Not that often. Occasionally here and there for a couple of different events, but.
So when you were on campus, was it this robust? Was the buildings this nice and everything like this?
Nowhere near this nice.
I'm dying to hear some of the stories about when you were here, man, as well. So yeah, we have an entrepreneurship club meeting, obviously, at least 3, 4, 5 times a semester as well, where we try to definitely expose our students to individuals like yourself. When you were here on campus, was this a thing? Do you remember it all?
I don't recall this or even this building.
Really?
It was pretty much just one long hallway over there.
Really?
I remember getting here for early classes at 7 a.m. and I was pretty much did it 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 12 p.m.
And then you roll out as well. Good stuff. So did you enjoy your experience here at COD? That's a good question, of course. I'm putting you on the spot now, man.
Yeah. I mean, I was taking classes here while working. Yeah. So it was rough as an 18-year-old kid, but yeah, no, I enjoyed my time here and definitely got a lot of life skills out of it.
Awesome. What were some of your favorite classes?
Well, my favorite classes were, I took real estate courses.
Nice.
Which I was really intrigued by, and when I first came here, I thought I wanted to get into real estate.
Sure.
And then I took a business course and then an entrepreneurship course.
Hey.
And I think we'll get more into that a little bit later, but yeah, those were my main classes besides the regular.
So you were working as well. How did that work out? And I'm sure a lot of students here can relate to that because they're taking classes here, they're working as well. How hard was that? And then how did that get you into where you are right now? So don't get me all the way to the end, but how did you, as you look back, how did that migrate to where you are now?
Well, it was very hard to balance both the two because you, from where I came from, which was a low-income family, I had to work. And I got to the point where it was like, well, do I go to class or do I go to work? And occasionally, sometimes that would, I would lean more towards going to work where it's paying me.
Right.
It was really, really hard to maintain both. But yeah, we made it work.
Very, very cool.
My boss and mentor was very, very helpful with that, and he scheduled my hours appropriately around my school schedule. So
awesome. How long ago did you finish out over here?
Oh my God! So
I'm not going to date you or anything like that.
Well, 2009.
Okay, cool.
When I bought the restaurant. So
very, very nice. Very, very nice. So Tell us about what you do now, and then I'm going to ask you to go backwards and say how did you segue into what you do now? So you are the owner of what?
Sure. I own Skuddlebutts Pizza and Catering. We're known for our buy one get one free pizzas, which you guys got the pleasure of eating when you guys came in. And then we've really worked on growing our catering side of the business. So we do a lot of on-site barbecues where we'll come out on-site with grills.
Nice.
We do a lot of corporate catering, graduation parties, stuff like that. And that's where we really built since I started.
Nice.
You know, because as you know, we were a full-service restaurant back in the day.
Sure.
When I started with the company as a busboy.
Yeah.
And now we're takeout, delivery, and catering only.
Yeah.
So it's kind of transformed over the years.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. So talk about how that was when you were you working there when you were in college?
Yes.
Wow, wow. So tell us how you've kind of migrated through that a little bit. Was this your dream job? Did you envision yourself to be the owner?
No. So I started off as a busboy. I started when I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
You know, my mom had actually worked as a server
wow.
at the restaurant, and the owner, Bill Gall, told me to come back when I was 15 years old to get a job, and that's what I did.
Good.
So I started off as a busboy, then a waiter and manager, and when that location closed in 2006,
Sure.
we moved to a smaller location on Ogden Avenue in Downers Grove, where I was managing, working for him, and he knew that I eventually, you know, wanted to do something more than, you know, manage at the pizza place.
Sure.
And I did have an opportunity that landed in my lap, and when I had brought that to his attention, you know, he brought to my attention the opportunity of buying the place.
Wow.
And actually financing part of the deal. So
how did that even? I mean, it sounds like that wasn't even really a thought of yours to buy that place. As you reflect on your college experience, do you feel like any of it, and you could say no, I want you to be very honest with this, do you feel like your college experience prepared you for, hey, do you want to own a restaurant?
Well, yeah, no, definitely. In fact, in my entrepreneurship class that I had taken, I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to be in control of how successful I was, how much money I could make. I didn't want to have a ceiling.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how hard I worked, I was only going to make X amount.
Sure.
Or be this successful. So, you know, I wanted to really work my butt off and reap the rewards of it.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, I knew that young.
Good.
So when I was taking classes here at COD in the entrepreneurship program, we our one grade, the only grade other than I think the attendance, was to write a business plan.
Yeah.
And I wrote a business plan for a restaurant, a different restaurant, an Italian restaurant. And when I went to the bank to get financing, because like I said, the owner of the previous restaurant financed for half of it, but I needed to come up with quite a bit of money in order to buy the restaurant. And I used that business plan that I wrote in the entrepreneurship class and kind of just changed a couple of things and was able to secure the financing for the restaurant.
Good for you, man. That's awesome to hear. Plug for the entrepreneurship class where we don't just have one grade anymore. We have multiple grades.
Yeah.
I'll say that those of you who are watching, you could definitely take the entrepreneurship class. They have a great professor here on campus. Moving right along though, so you had this offer in your lap. You used a little bit of your business plan to work with the bank a little bit. Was it a smooth process, that whole process to be able to, with the bank? Because I know how it is to buy a house. Similar, harder, what do you think?
No, way harder.
Yeah.
So you got to remember, I was 20 years old at this point.
Wow.
I was still taking classes at COD.
Wow.
And so when I went into banks, most of them didn't take me seriously.
Yeah.
So I probably went to, I would say, over 20 banks trying to get the financing until one bank finally, the only bank that actually came out to visit us at the restaurant and see the operation and see what we had going on was the one bank that was able to help me out.
Good for you. And even at 20 years old today, that's almost unheard of.
Right.
I mean, I don't think I don't think that could happen.
Right.
But you never know. These things are possible as well. So tell us how it's been owning the restaurant even since that time. Tell us about some of the growing pains of being a restaurant owner, because I think that's one of the hardest businesses to get into. So many moving parts. You got plates, you got forks, you got fresh food, then you got people on top of it as well. So yeah, give us a little picture of that.
That's the hardest thing is finding really good people that want to buy in and actually provide a good service and good product for people, and being able to pay the kind of wages that need to be paid for to get quality people. So that's one of the hard things. When I first started, I thought I was untouchable. I thought everything turned to gold because I had all the success really young.
Right.
And so I actually ended up building a new location over here on Roosevelt Road.
Really?
In Glen Ellen. That was in 2011, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And it definitely hit hard and made me realize, like, I should probably just hold up a little bit and do my research before I just jump into certain things. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of growing pains. Lost a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of gray hairs,
Sure, yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's a lot to work with, a lot of moving parts.
Interesting. If those of you who are watching here, I don't want to hog all the questions as well. So if you have any questions about how it was to start, how it is to own the restaurant, please feel free to raise your hand. I'll call on you. This good-looking guy in the back, he always has a question. Yes, sir. What is your question? That's not. Just go ahead. I'm just joking.
How have you been able to compete with like big pizza chains like Domino's and like Pizza Hut? Like, how do you differentiate yourself, and how do you kind of like compete against them?
That's a good question.
That's a great question. We're very different. We're much different than your Domino's, Pizza Hut. We do a lot of catering, like I was saying, with the big company caterings, the graduation parties. I'm able to be a lot more flexible than a chain restaurant. As far as like designing custom menus for people, working with different price ranges. I work with all the schools in the area. We do a lot of fun lunch programs, which gets us in with our target market, which is, families. And the people who are going to go to the chains are going to go to the chains anyway. If they want to buy a $10 pizza, they're going to go to Domino's no matter what. They're not going to come to me. But that is a great question. And even more so these days, the hard part to compete with is the Grubhubs and the Ubers and all that stuff, because, if you think 10 years ago, we didn't have that. It was either pizza, Jimmy John's, or Chinese to get delivered to you. Now you can get anything you want.
Wow.
So, that's why it's good that we've kind of shifted over more towards the catering end of everything. Our main business is still the pizza, but yeah, I mean, there's always going to be competition and everything.
Talk about that really quick, your target audience. You've been mentioning families. You talk about maybe some graduations and different events and holidays as well. Do you really focus in on your targets, especially when you are marketing your products and marketing your services for them? Do you focus in on, okay, we want to gear towards this audience right here, or do you just say everybody loves pizza?
Well, yeah, I do two different kinds.
Sure.
Like I do one for like pizza, where like everybody loves pizza, so you can pretty much canvas the whole area and do coupons and EDDM mailings and
like
and stuff like that.
In the local town, in Downers Grove in this case, right? Okay.
Because everybody loves pizza, and it doesn't even matter how the economy is. And when the economy's down, people are buying pizza.
Yeah,
when it's up, they're going out to eat, but they're also still ordering pizza.
Sure.
So there is a couple things that I do targeted mailings, like with our graduations, because usually those are more affluent families with someone with a graduating age kid in the family. So I'll buy a list and I'll target those homes specifically.
Good.
Homes with a graduating either college, high school, or junior high.
Nice.
And do that. And then obviously the businesses, we always are canvassing them for corporate parties and stuff. So
we were talking before the show here. You mentioned about some of the holidays, the number 1 and 2 holidays. I was kind of blown away by that a little bit.
Yeah, everyone's shocked when I tell them that. So everyone thinks Super Bowl is like the biggest day of the pizza industry, and it is like probably the busiest 3 hours.
Sure.
But Valentine's Day is the second busiest day of the year.
Wow.
We do a lot of heart-shaped pizzas. Another thing
that's
that,
cute, man.
I don't know if all the chains do that, but another way that we can, get above the chains, because they're getting pre-rolled dough, and we can, capitalize on the heart-shaped pizzas.
Right.
So we do a ton of those on Valentine's Day, and then the number one day that for pizza is Halloween.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Who'd have thought? Are you doing like
parties, and people are home wanting to see all the trick-or-treaters, so they'll order in.
I didn't know you do mummy pizzas or something like that.
No, we don't do that.
Yes, sir, in the back. Yes, sir.
So it's kind of a two-part question, but are you only selling pizza? And like, if you're not, did you start out only selling pizza, or did you have like other things like garlic bread or whatever?
Yeah, no, we have a really big menu. You can actually see it back there. But we have burgers, chicken, all kinds of appetizers, salads, pastas, all that. I would say pizza is our main item, and then people will, buy other items while they're getting their pizzas. And I also think that pizza has driven our catering business as well, because companies that are ordering a bunch of pizzas, if we advertise to them that, hey, we can also cater your event. We're not just pizza, we'll do other stuff. So I think that that's driven some of our catering sales as well.
Did you start out that way with a big menu, or was it smaller? Like when you were back in college at that time, was the menu not as robust as it is now?
The catering menu was not as robust.
Okay.
We didn't even have a catering menu, actually. we would, like, if somebody wanted us to do an event, we would do it, but we didn't have a catering menu. We really didn't promote it.
Sure.
But when I started out in college, it was a completely different business model, because we had the sit-down restaurant,
Sure.
we had the bar.
Yeah.
So he was more focused on, the alcohol sales,
Right.
the dine-in, rather than, going out there and getting off-site catering, which I'm trying to do now.
You're focusing more. Is that bringing in substantial amount of money?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Catering.
So I brought a couple documents here, because when I first bought the company, I had the profit and loss statement.
Nice.
And this year's is not quite, but it's almost double what it is when I had bought it. So,
Wow. I think we had another question in the back. Yes.
I was wondering, like the whole catering, was that an idea that came after you bought the store, or was that something you were already looking into?
So yeah, no, I was already looking into that, and even in my business plan that I'll share with you guys, that was one of the main things that I really wanted to focus on to increase sales, because I thought that was a way for me to veer away from the 2-for-1, buy one get one free pizza, and into a higher profit margin in the catering sales.
Yeah. Interesting. Some more. Yes, sir.
How did you go into researching new locations? You said you had one, but it didn't work out.
Yeah.
What did you learn from that, and how do you go about finding the right spot? Do you canvass the area? Do you see what's already in there?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was like an impulse decision. Like I said, I was doing so well over here, and I thought, like, hey, I can do another one of these. I can do 4 more. But I found that in that particular scenario, I probably should have waited a little bit and did a little bit more research, and possibly bought a existing location, because I built that location out. So it was a lot of money on the forefront that I had to loan, and in order to pay that debt back, I had to be making a lot of money. And while it was doing okay, it wasn't doing enough to
Like substantiate all
Right.
the needs.
Right.
Interesting.
Right.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and you got to have the right people around you, and you can only do so much. You can only spread yourself so thin. So.
Yes, sir. Second question.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, are you still working in shop and stuff?
In the shop? Oh yeah, no, I start every day in the shop, and I usually, if there's not as much going on, I live 1 block away from the restaurant, so that's really nice. So I'm able to. My wife's self-employed too, so we can kind of spend some time if it's not as busy. But I'm there every single day.
How is it with the restaurant? I hear rumors and scared rumors that it's like a 365 a day, no vacation, nothing like that. I've even I've talked to a lot of people who own restaurants, and it's just non-stop.
Yes.
Give us an idea about that.
No, yeah, that's absolutely true. Like in the summertime, I do not go on vacation in the summertime. We probably 80, 90 hours a week.
Wow.
But then, this time of year, I take a little bit
Sure.
time back. And like I said, if I don't have much going on in a day, I can take off. But a lot of times, like in the full service restaurant industry, it's a little bit harder to get away because you got to be there all the time, making sure that nothing's going awry. Yeah. So
whenever someone asks me, I always say that's the hardest business to get into and be successful because again, it's just nonstop from the time you begin this process to the time you feel like you want to finish. Yes, sir.
Where'd the idea for the name come from?
So I bought the company, like I said, in 2009, and everybody always asks that. And for a second, I thought about changing it, but I'm like, no way. It's known in the community, and when I go to the schools, like sometimes the kids laugh and they're like, butts, But basically, like I said, we used to have the full service restaurant and bar, and on a naval ship, they use the term scuttlebutt as where they go to drink, and it also became a slang word for gossip. So like on a naval ship, they would go there, gossip and drink, and that was more fitting when it was the bar, because that's what you do at a bar. You drink and you gossip. So they call it Skuddlebutts.
I love that type of place, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Any more questions from the audience? Yes, sir.
I deal with websites. How does your online presence contribute to your business?
I mean, that's a great question, and it's huge. We just redid our website a couple of years ago, and over the years, you get more and more online orders. And the biggest thing for us in the pizza business, it's so competitive that you want to be the first one that pops up when someone searches pizza on Google, right? Because more than likely, they're going to order from that top spot if they're new to the community or they don't know, So, I mean, having a great website and great social media and great content so that you're that top search result is huge in our business. So I mean, we pay like Google AdWords and all that stuff, but I mean, having a great website is definitely key, and making it easy for them to go on and order and upsell items. But
Any more questions? Yes.
How's your employment process go? How do you go about finding the right person for your shop?
Yeah, that's hard. That's real hard. We pretty much have always just when we interview somebody and they seem like they're knowledgeable, they're friendly, they have good customer service skills. We'll bring them in, we'll try them out, and if it doesn't work after a couple weeks, we will just let them know. Hey, it's not working out. But that really hardly ever happens. Really, most of the people will stick with us for a while, at least while they're in school. We get a lot of students, a lot of high school students, college students, and then a lot of times they'll come back in the summer times when they're back from school and want to help us out still, because it's a fun atmosphere to work in. But I mean, we pretty much employ a lot of the high school and college guys and girls and check them out.
Would you say it's more of a mom and pop shop kind of thing?
Oh yeah, more definitely. Usually when someone interviews, they'll interview with either me or one of our managers, and they'll get an opportunity to come work for us in the next couple of days.
So I got a couple of questions to finish off. Going back to the whole question about expanding and you having new locations, you learned from that experience, obviously, and that you had to shut that one down. So now, as you continue to move forward, do you see expansion in the horizon in the future?
Well, I always go back and forth with it because, we get so super busy in the summertime that I'm like, oh, I'm good. Like, this is enough for me. Yeah. And then in the wintertime, I get antsy and I want to do something. I want to do more. So I always go back and forth with that. What I've always done over the years is I've always had like a big project, something else going on, and like I told you, we've expanded like our real estate quite a bit. So back in 2016, I bought the strip center that we are located in.
Nice.
And so now we're not paying rent anymore.
Nice.
You know, we are paying the mortgage and own that property. And then
so you're almost diversifying a little bit instead of just doing it that way, the straightforward way. Good for you.
Yeah, and then in 2018 we bought the place next door.
Nice.
So we're trying to grow like that, and you know, eventually I think, you know, I may want to do something.
Sure.
But right now we're trying to build at the location that we're at now, and you know, increase those catering sales, because we could do more catering out of our location.
Right.
You know, we're not limited to how many tables we have. We can build up. I mean, we can do as many outside events as needed.
Wow.
You know. Wow. So I think I would rather just grow from within rather than open another location at this point.
Nice. So here's my last question I have for all our guests who ever come to the CODEC show here as well. So knowing then what you know now, what would you do different, or what would you tell your younger self, especially as you're going through college and, you know, and the experiences that you've had? What would you tell your younger self if you were back here at COD?
Yeah, I mean, I would just tell myself, like, you know, there's only one thing that, like, I would really want to do is just slow down, really consider all your options before you don't make you know, rash decisions. And kind of just, you know, make sure you do your due diligence on everything before you jump into something.
Okay.
But definitely chase after your dream. Definitely go for it. Like, don't be scared to to put yourself out there and start a business or buy a business, because then again, if you didn't, you would never know.
You'd never know.
And it's definitely something you can do, and just make sure you always do your due diligence.
Awesome. Wow, this is awesome. Hey, folks, let's give Danny a hand here for sure. And those of you who are watching on YouTube verse, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the CODEC Show. This is episode number 1 of spring 2020. Danny Glover, president of Skuddlebutts in Downers Grove. Definitely make sure you visit his store, his shop there. Get all the pizza that you can, because it will do you well. Until next time, thank you so much. We'll see you then.